I'm setting up for a buffet, which to me shouldn't mean a big mishmash of different flavors or all you can eat. It should be a simple, beautiful dinner, just served simply so it takes the pressure off the cook. I'm making poached fish filled with mascarpone lemon cream and covered in cucumber scales, a pea, fava, and asparagus tumble to go alongside. For dessert, a light as a feather angel cake with berries. And to start, hot pernod mussels with crunchy tops. I'm so excited that I finally get to use my fish poacher. I haven't had a chance to use this once. Normally I don't get gadgets, but every once in a while I fall victim to the urge. I'm poaching a trout. It's just the right size. We're just a handful of people, and it will fit nicely in my poacher. So I'm just going to lay it in there like a little bed. And in here, pour about a cup of wine for flavor and a little acidity. Bay leaves for scent. The wine smells very floral. And a few peppercorns. A bit of salt. And a quartered onion. And now I don't think I need to use all wine to poach it. It's much more economical to add water. Back in his natural habitat. There. His last swim. Now I'm just going to turn it on and cover it and then check for bubbles, and as soon as I see it simmering, I turn off the heat and just let it cool in the liquid. And as soon as it's cooled, it's done. Bubbles! So I'm just going to take the lid off now and let it cool in the liquid, and as soon as it's cooled, I can decorate. Nice new chives. I'm making a mascarpone cream filling for the fish. Mascarpone is, of course, an Italian cheese, but it holds together better. If I were to put in creme fraiche, it would fall to pieces. Perky chives. I want to be able to see them, and I want each bite to have a little bit in it. And lemon zest, which is so delicious. You have a nice mild fish and then this creaminess in your mouth between the fillets, and then sharpness from the chives and lemon, which just bursts in your mouth. Makes it very fresh. Once it's cool, just lift the fish out. This is very convenient because it hooks on the side, and then it can drain. But still, you should pat it dry because there's lots of water in the fish and you don't want it on your platter. I'm just going to take off the skin carefully so I leave the flesh behind. Pretty in pink. Once you've cleared the skin away, you can just neatly slice down the backbone. And now I'm going to flip it onto the platter. And then I can pull out the bone and everyone will be so happy. Now, taking the mascarpone cream and spreading a layer on the bottom fillet. I'm saving a little for the top, but mostly I want the cream on the inside. And now I'm just going to put a little more salt and pepper on the fish, and then just flip the fish fillet, the top one, back over, and peel off the rest of the skin. So at this point, it looks a little messy, but it's about to look spectacular. needs his clothes put back on. A classic way to garnish a poached fish is with cucumber scales. So I want really thin slices. I'm using a mandolin because it just dresses it all up again. So I'm not adding more cream for quantity. I just want a thin layer so that the cucumber slices will stick nicely. Just one more thing. He needs a twinkle in his eye. There he is. Ooh, just fits. Next, for the side, I'm making a tumble of asparagus, peas, and pretty spring fava beans. A buffet has to be a feast for the eyes, first of all, because it's spread out for everyone to see, and it has to make them very hungry. I've got a magnificent trout covered in cucumber scales with mascarpone cream in the center, and to go with it, a lovely tumble of vegetables, asparagus, peas, and favas. So I've just shelled all these peas and favas, which are a labor of love. They look like this, and they lie inside like they're in a little sleeping bag, but they have to be shelled again. Now, first, I just want to get a shallot going before I blanch things. It's kind of a hot salad, this dish. So the shallot, I'm not going to cook. I'm going to leave very fresh and perky, just macerate it in vinegar for a bit. I'm going to put a lot of herbs in this in a minute. So, tarragon vinegar. So the shallot just sits in a bit of vinegar just to soften it a little bit. And then you drain off the vinegar and just add the shallot. Now I've got a big pot of water boiling to blanch vegetables. I'm going to salt it because that helps keep them bright green. And then, in order, not of importance, of time, asparagus. I'm just going to cut the ends off and cut these because this is all going to jumble and tumble together, and I want things in harmony size-wise. Okay, so just drop in everything but the tips first, just to give them a head start because the tips are the most delicate, so they just need a few seconds less. Now we're just going to add the tips because the others have had a head start. And they all go just bright, bright green, almost instantly. I've got an ice bath here all ready for them. And when they're tender, I'm going to lift them out with my trusty sieve and plunge them right into the ice bath. And that way it seizes the color and stops the cooking. So they'll be very pretty. Now my fava beans. Now these, I grew up eating these, called lima beans, with the shell, and I hated them. But they're so delicious inside. The secret lies within. They hardly need any time at all. Actually, I'm just going to blanch them just to get the skins off. Whew, steamy. And really get them cold fast, because I don't want them to cook anymore. They can cook with the peas. Now I know what you're thinking. This is a labor of love. Well, it is, except in spring when the vegetables are so bright and beautiful and delicious, a little effort applied is worth it. You peel back those old skins and underneath, bright, jealous green. Now, to add some richness, bacon. Just a few slices. It just gives a nice, rich flavor. Just a little dribble of oil. While the bacon fries, I'm going to round up my garnish. 3 chives, tarragon, and mint. I'm just going to chop them all together. Now, I'm just going to leave all that fat in there because there's not too much and I like it. And cook the peas. Peas right in with the bacon. And then a bit of chicken stock. You just want the liquid to reduce, a few spoonfuls worth. And when they're tender, you add the favas. And finally, the asparagus. I just want to add a few more flavorings. Balsamic, just a few drops. And then some olive oil. A squirt of lemon, just because it brings out the brightness in flavors. And then don't forget the shallots. Some fleur de sel, freshly ground pepper. Throw a few of these herbs in here. They really contribute to the taste, so don't leave them out. And then the whole reason I call this a tumble is because they tumble into the bowl with all their dressing. The best part's the bacon. Next, I'm making dessert, which is a high angel cake, a light spongy cake, very innocent. I think buffets signify food shared, and so to have individual portions of everything goes against the whole feeling. You want everything to be warm and fuzzy and communal and almost family-like, whether it's family or not. So I'm making a nice big cake, just like Mommy used to. This is an angel cake, or gâteau aux anges, but not an angel food cake in the American style because it's not just whites, it's whole eggs, only it's just as light. The oven needs to be at 400, and make sure you let it get hot before you put the cake in because it needs that heat for an initial rise. It's all about the rise. So lots of eggs. I'm going to separate them because you do beat the whites first. Now, for the workout part. You can do this in a machine if you like, but you know me. This recipe actually I found in a really old cookbook, and all the measurements were based on the egg weight. So 6 eggs and then the weight of eggs and sugar and the proportion of the weight of flour, and all very complicated. Took a lot of calculating to figure that out. So once the whites are really stiff, add the yolks. So now you'd think you'd lose volume, but actually this cake has more volume than any I know. First, the yolks, then a cup of sugar, feed in the sugar and a little vanilla, teaspoon, generous one. And finally flour, I'm going to sift it in. So sift over the flour and then whisk it in. Okay, voila, a nice ribbony batter, very thick. And then it goes into a lined pan. This is 9 inches anyway. Lined, buttered on the sides, and it's going to come right up to the very top. You just wait. And just keep an eye on it. At the 45-minute mark, start looking. And when a toothpick comes clean and it's high and golden, it's ready to take out. I'm just going to serve some cheeses. Goat cheese, though, because it's light for summer. There's nothing worse than cold cheese. Bonjour. In one little cheese shop, these are all goat's cheeses. You can have log shapes like this one, which stays fairly creamy. They have a straw running through it. That way it won't break. Some are in pyramid shapes. You can have little discs, kind of like pucks. When they're really, really fresh, they're very creamy and tangy, like the pale white ones back there. As they get older, they get a bit harder and dense. They shrink down. Obviously, they lose moisture. And then they're much more intense, much stronger tasting. I find goat cheese fascinating because with one cheese, you can make hundreds. Very spongy. Just want to check it because the middle is where it tends to be a little undercooked compared to the sides. So always test in the middle, but it's good. Cooked. It just needs the simplest decoration. Et voila! You really can't tell how great it is until you taste it because then it's got that great texture, but I think it would be kind of rude to cut into it, so I'd better wait. Next, an appetizer. I'm making mussels steamed in pernod and topped with a little crunch. Having a drink, now they just need a little bite. I'm going to make mussels steamed in pernod with a crispy top just for an aperitif. Okay, better just get that out of the way before, well, just until I finish these. Now, these are already clean, which is good. But just so you know, any that are open and that won't close when you tap them, you discard. It's all very straightforward. Crash! Something to make these a little more original. It's an anise-flavored aperitif from the south of France, and I'm just putting a big splash in. And they'll steam in that, and they'll take on that licoricey flavor. So I'm making a flavored butter to put on top. This is very soft, as you can see. Mash, mash, mash. And I want some herb, tarragon, because this will reflect the anise flavor of the drink. Chives, too. Then maybe a little parsley, too. So I have herb butter, I have breadcrumbs, and I have open mussels. Okay. Not even going to drain them. I'm going to pick them out. So you see, any that are closed you throw away. Any that are open are fair game. So I'm taking off the top shell and just laying the half shell with the mussel on it on the baking sheet. Now, Just a little dab of butter on each one. There. And now so they have crunchy tops, some breadcrumbs. And in they go. They just need a few minutes until they're golden on top and the butter has melted all over them. Poached trout with mascarpone lemon cream, a magnificent whole fish with cucumber scales, pea, fava, and asparagus tumble, angel cake, a light spongy cake, very innocent, and hot pernod mussels, anise-scented bites of mussel on the half shell with crunchy crumbs. Finally!
Oh, wow!
I had to try one, sorry. Dig in. I have an idea. I'm putting these here. So here's a bowl for shells. You just cut through, it's all bone.
I think you're going upstream, girl. That was a fish metaphor.
So are you. Thank you very much.